Hey guys, Kat1 here, and people have been asking a lot about the Attack on Titan tribute game. Where is it? It's been a while since it last updated, and we did an update video on that, but I wanted to do some gameplay of it, and I also wanted a chance to pretty much just talk about things. So I'm going to hit two birds with one stone and make a new series, I guess, called Storytime with Kat1, where I guess I'm just gonna talk about stuff while killing titans, or like trying to, at least, since I don't seem to be having very much luck with these guys. There we go. Okay, so maybe you've seen my Let's Play of Stranded Deep. If you haven't, you can watch it. I'll probably put a link in the description, or you could just go to the channel and watch it from there. But it was a pretty fun game. The only thing is, I kind of have a fear of the ocean. And it's not really like a random phobia or anything. It's more like a love-hate relationship, I guess. Because I really do like the ocean. It's very pretty. When I was a child, I wanted to be a mermaid. And I still probably would be if someone would buy me one of those really fancy mermaid tails. I would probably want to swim in that like all the time, but not in the ocean. And the reason why is a lot of things that have happened in my past. Just too many things. The first thing was I am from Bermuda, so we went to visit there a lot during my childhood. And everyone would always tell me to not wear anything shiny in the water because the barracudas will come. At the time, I had no idea what a barracuda even was. And, I mean, I found out later, and they looked terrifying. Like, I thought they were some sort of large ocean piranha. And I had no idea what they were, or even what they did when they come, because no one ever said what they would do when they come. Just, the barracudas will come, and I was like, will they attack me? Will they steal the shiny thing? Will they eat me alive like a school of large ocean piranhas? But I never found out until later. I also found out recently that barracuda attacks are actually pretty rare. But still, those things are terrifying. That's what killed most of Nemo's family. Seriously. Another thing that caused me to be scared of the ocean was that when I went to Bermuda, we would go to these beaches and they had like crystal clear water and they were beautiful. But my dad would always tell me to watch out for anything in the water that looked kind of like a plastic bag because it was like a Portuguese ManofWar jellyfish, and that apparently their stings were really terribly painful and possibly deadly. So the entire time I would be in the beach, I would be looking like through all the water for these things. So I never really did get to enjoy those crystal clear beaches. But like the worst part of the water is not the crystal clear beaches, it's the murky water. Because you don't really know what's down there. You maybe have some sort of vague idea, but you can't see anything from like a distance until it's like right up in your face. Like this one time, when I was really little, I went to the beach in Bermuda. It was surrounded by rocks, mostly, like these rocky walls, and there was like coral and stuff in the water. Maybe not coral so much as just rocks and seaweeds and crap, but ooh, that was nice. Anyway, I went there with like a couple of my cousins, and we were all like swimming. I was playing in the sand. The adults were like reading novels under their umbrellas or something, whatever people do at the beach when they don't swim. And anyway, one of my cousins went out swimming like, they went pretty far out. And I was just watching because I was not that old at the time. I was kind of afraid of the water because of the Barracudas and Portuguese ManofWar, but, anyway, I saw, like, this thing. There was this huge shadow, like, in the water. It wasn't a shadow above the water, it was in the water. And people kept trying to tell me afterwards that it was like a cloud or something, and I know clouds, and that was not a cloud. It was some sort of like massive ray in the water. It was definitely a ray shape, and it was swimming around. It was not floating like a cloud, it was swimming. And rays are dangerous. They have killed people. Rays are dangerous. Especially stingrays. I don't trust them. They are related to sharks. I'm pretty sure they're related to sharks anyway. I think they have like the same type of egg or something. It's really creepy because they're like flat sharks that don't attack people as often, I guess? Maybe they do. I haven't looked up the statistics on that, but anyway. No one else was paying attention to this thing in the water, but I was, and then it just sort of went back out, and my cousin came back, and I was too afraid to warn him. Like, I did not want to go in the water after him. No way. But things were okay. Nobody got horribly dead by rays. Things were okay. And I did not really want to go swimming at that beach ever again, but I was still okay. That didn't keep me out of the water. I still enjoyed going to the beach sometimes. Then another time we went to Bermuda. And we went to visit some family. Like some cousins and uncles and, you know, that sort of family. And we went to visit their house, and near their house they had some sort of like a beach area, but it wasn't quite like a beach area. Because the water was like all murky, there was boats in it, it was kind of like a harbor beach. And most of my cousins were out swimming, and I wanted to join them because I wanted to prove myself to be cool and not a chicken and like one of the cool kids. So I decided I would go out there, and they were all on this long pad thing floating on the water. And I thought it was like some sort of dock or something, because it looked kind of like a dock. They were all sort of climbing around on that, but it was like way out, and you had to swim through like all of this murky water to get that out there. And people keep like pushing me. They're like, why don't you go swimming? All I really wanted to do was play Jenga, but they were out there, and I knew that they thought that I was chicken for not doing it, so I decided to do it. I got on my swimsuit, I was about to head out there, I was walking down the stairs, I was about to step in the water, and then I had this thought. I was like, maybe I should look where I'm stepping. Ooh. And I looked where I was stepping. And like right directly below my foot, my raised foot that I was about to put down in the water, there was an octopus. I'm not even kidding. I almost stepped on an octopus. You don't normally expect to see octopi or whatever the plural of octopus is, but you think that's the sort of thing you would see in like deep sea diving or some sort of aquarium. But no, it's just there near the house. It almost came out of the water for a while, and then it disappeared. You don't normally expect to step on an octopus, and I almost did. And it just sort of disappeared into the murky depths. And I didn't really want to go in the water after that. I just sort of sat there for a little while, thinking, there could be a lot of things in this water. Not just octopus is. And eventually I gathered up the courage or whatever to go back out there, which was probably not a good idea. And I was really careful. I swam out to the pad as quickly as possible. I got my feet off the ground because I didn't want to step on any more cephalopods that may have been lurking around. And I made it out to the pad, which was not, as I had initially thought, some sort of floating dock, but just a pad. Like, it was just a pad. They were just playing on some sort of floating pad. And it wasn't floating very well at this point because there were so many kids on it. It was like flipping over and stuff, and I was clinging on to that for dear life because the water at this point was so deep that if I ever fell, I would be lost, like, into the void of the murky water, full of plural octopus. About 10 minutes later, the kids got tired of playing out in the water, which was lucky for me since they'd been out there for a while. So we all got out of the water, and we went to go, like, you know, wash the sand off, change out of our suits, when all of us individually noticed we had marks all over us. Red, itchy, bumpy marks. Quite like you would get from mosquitoes. But we'd been in the water the whole time. There was no mosquitoes anywhere. Nobody had seen any. But yet we were covered in these weird bumps, and no one had any idea what they were from. Were they like some sort of water mosquito? I don't know. I really don't. And to this day, we still haven't figured out what that was. I have no idea. But even that, even after, oh, dang it. Even after all of that, I still wasn't done going swimming in, like, the ocean or, like, water in general. Because after that, back here in Canada, where you don't expect, like, tropical things, like octopi, or weird water mosquitoes, or giant rays, but, like, here in Canada, you don't have to worry about much aside from the occasional jellyfish and, like, seaweed. And you don't even have to worry about that in most lakes, because you don't... Whoa, okay. Chill, dude. Because, like, they're lakes. There's, like, not a lot of seaweed, maybe the occasional leech, but it's cold here. Most stuff doesn't live here. Anyway, we went to this lake, and we were, like, swimming and stuff, and I went there with my aunt and her friend, and anyway, we went there to go swimming, and apparently, from what my aunt's friend had said, it was a really nice lake. They go swimming there a lot. And I thought, okay, this place definitely has no barracudas. That is a plus. I'm going swimming. It took a bit of convincing me, but I did agree to go. So we got in the water, we sort of waited out for a bit, and then I kept thinking I saw something, like on the ground, in the water, and I was like, is that some sort of a crab? Because I thought it was moving. Or, like, maybe, like, a fish or something, maybe a small turtle. But it looked quite like a crab, and so I was like, I think there's crabs in this lake. And no one believed me. They were like, there's no crabs in this lake. What are you talking about? You're probably just imagining things. Which is exactly what they said about the ray, but anyway, we kept swimming for a while, and eventually I hear some kid, like, across the lake. Like, there was some other kids there, like a group of, like, 6 or so. And this kid just, like, bursts up out of the water, and he's like, Dad, look, I found a crab! And I was like, I told you there were crabs here. You didn't believe me, but it was true. So they were like, okay, and we got out of the water, mostly because I did not, want to step on any crabs, because, you know, they're, like, all pinchy and snappy and not very friendly. So we got out of the lake, and when I get out of the lake, I see in the sand, these kids have, like, made some sort of a pit, like a sand pit, and it was full of something, and I couldn't see from that distance. And I thought it was like full of like a bunch of rocks and a couple of crabs, and I was like, cool, they set up some sort of crab playpen. Time to leave. But then I got a glance at it a little bit closer, and I realized that all the things which I thought to be like a bunch of pebbles were actually just hundreds of hermit crabs. The pit was filled to like the brim with hermit crabs, like all crawling on top of one another. And I didn't know what to say. I had never seen like wild hermit crabs before in my life. I had never seen this many crabs before in my life. I didn't know hermit crabs lived in Canada or in lakes, or crabs in general living in lakes. There were just so many. We went home after that.